Thank y'all for tuning back in to your favorite channel, the channel that's going to give you the most PBK9s, dog talk, and news for the day. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Hit that subscribe button. It's not going to cost you one brown penny to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button before you get up out of here. Don't forget to drop down in the comments if you want to say anything or rock with the brothers and sisters down in the chat. Big salute to all my brothers and sisters that be down with me in the chat, that's down with me in the chat right now. Big shout out to all the dog lovers from one side of the world to the other side of the world, from one side of the United States to the other side of the United States. We got some dog news today. You know, a little bit of dog talk, but plenty of dog news. All right, now we're going to start this thing off. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show y'all brothers and sisters some of the blonde color, red-nosed brindle dogs that the brothers sent me in the pictures. You know, some of the brown color dogs, blonde color dogs, buckskin, red-nosed brindle dogs. You know, these aren't no specific line of dogs. We were just talking about the Pitbull in general and that color. So y'all check these pictures out. You know, both dogs, buckskin, cream color with, you know, with the red nose with the stripes in them. Two different shades of buckskin. You know, and even though those are the red nose, you know, buckskin color dogs, the ones that I'm speaking about is a tad bit lighter, you know, but buckskin is buckskin regardless. Red nose is red nose. So, you know, every dog gonna come out with his own shade of, you know, his own shade of color. But the ones I'm kind of speaking on is your real light color buckskin dogs with your dark red color, your real bright color red nose. And you can see the stripes real good in them, you know, just like, you know, any other brindle color dog, you can see the stripes real good in them, and he's real light color red. You know, real light color red. But great looking dogs right there, man. Great looking dogs. Appreciate y'all brothers for sending me them pics, because, you know, you don't see them dogs all the time. You don't see them dogs all the time. Now, as we get into this news, the first little bit of news, because we going across the world with this news today. Big salute and big shout out to all my people over there in Europe, all my people in Africa, all my people in Asia. You know, big salute to all the dog lovers. We're going around the world today with that news. First little bit of news we got is coming from West Baltimore. You know, where we got an audio of a woman who was mauled by two pit bulls. So we're going to check that audio out real quick, and then we're going to get back into this dog talk and dog news.
All right, 10-4. In reference to this animal bite, I have two tickets in reference. Ticket number 1, I have an animal bite, 2016 North Pulaski Street. Miss Clark states that two pit bulls had severely injured a female at the location. The victim does not appear to be breathing. The pit bulls are still roaming the area. The second ticket in reference is coming in as a police notify. Dual response with the medics, 30-year-old female not conscious, not breathing, female bit by several dogs. Complainant states that the pit bulls are still on scene in the alley of the location. And I just had a third ticket in reference come in for request assistance police. Same location, 2016 North Pulaski Street. Do I have permission to do?
10-4. Can we get a dog pull?
Now, when it comes to this news, you know, I give you the animal cruelty situations across the board. You know, but this one particular situation, we got a Greenville, South Carolina police officer who was charged with animal cruelty. But wait till you see how this dog look. And he's saying that there is no animal cruelty. I don't know what you call it. If this ain't animal cruelty, I don't know what you call it. You know, this is one of the worst dogs I've seen outside of that dog, you know, and this dog look a little better than that one. You know, that was on that $50 keep. This dog look a little better than that one. Greenville police officer charged with animal cruelty. So y'all check this video out and tell me, does the condition of this dog, you know, warrants the punishment? It's your boy, PBK9s. Let's get into it.
Greenville police officer is now facing animal abuse charges. We do want to warn you, some of these photos you're about to see are graphic. Online court records show Greer police charged Amanda Caitlin Ross with animal abuse on April 26th. A spokesperson for the Greer Police Department confirming to us the dog you see here was associated with this case. Greenville police confirm Ross is an officer and say she is under an internal investigation, but right now she's on full duty. We know from an initial incident report the dog had heartworm disease, but its owners could not afford to treat it or put the dog down. Tonight we're waiting on that written incident report from Greer police detailing what led to the charges against Ross, but we're told we'll be able to get that tomorrow.
Now that was a rough looking dog. You know what I'm saying? There's really no excuse for how that dog looked. That's not 1 day of missing food, 2 days missing food. That's not even 3 or 4 days missing food. You know, that's a whole lot of starving in that situation right there. A whole lot of starving. Now, we know, it's hot outside right now. It's hot outside right now. I walk out the door, I start sweating once I'm outside for a few minutes. Now, we know when we're traveling with our pets, we know we can't leave them in the car like that. You can't, and you definitely can't leave them in the car with windows rolled up. You definitely can't leave them in the car with the windows rolled up. Like if it's saying it's 95 degrees outside, you gotta know it's way over 100 in the car, especially after you turn the car off. And sometimes it's 80-some, 70-some degrees outside, and it's still 100 and some degrees in the car. But this particular situation, we got a couple that said they're gonna take their animal cruelty charge to trial. Because it was charged, and I gave y'all this video as well earlier last year, where they left 2 of the dogs in the car. One of the dogs died. So they was charged in that situation. So we're about to get into that video where they took it to trial, and I'm going to let y'all see whether it was guilty or not guilty, and why was it guilty or not guilty. So y'all tune in, check it out, giving it to you like I always give it to you, fair and unbiased, raw and uncut. Some going to like it, some ain't, man. Some gonna like it, some ain't. You gotta get your content up. Get your content up. We about to get into it, man. Let's go.
A charge with animal cruelty after leaving 2 dogs locked in a hot car last year appeared in court today. WDBJ7's Lindsay Cook tells us what happened and the court's decision.
James Lipscomb and Ashley Hutton were charged with animal cruelty after they left 2 dogs under their care locked in a hot car, resulting in the death of 1 dog and the other dog requiring emergency veterinarian care. During the trial, the Commonwealth argued the 2 individuals, who were dating at the time, willingly subjected the animals to abuse by leaving them in the car for nearly 40 minutes while they ate lunch at Texas Tavern on June 25, 2023. Witnesses called by the Commonwealth testified they could hear the dogs panting from outside the car with no owners to be found and immediately called for police assistance. A Roanoke officer testified to arriving at the scene and said when he put his hand in the car, he could feel no AC and that the car was extremely hot. The officer said he approached the defendants after they arrived, who argued the car was on. Just a few minutes after they arrived back at the car, they realized Cookie had died. They were arrested at the scene. A veterinarian took the stand and testified Cookie had died from heat stroke. She also testified saying it was clear Meech, the second dog, showed signs of exhaustion but was otherwise healthy. The defense used close friends of Lipscomb to argue he was a good father to the dogs and treated them with care as if they were his own children. After closing statements, the judge questioned the defendant's judgment of leaving the 2 animals in the car, saying this is all about unquestionably poor judgment. The judge found the defendants not guilty on the charges, saying there is not enough evidence to prove animal cruelty. In Roanoke, Lindsay Cook, WDBJ7.
Big shout out to all the dog lovers out there. Big shout out to my man King Long Swipe holding it down on the west side. I'm doing this one for my man King Long Swipe and everybody who's interested and thinking about dealing with the Pit Sky breed of dog, which is the Pitbull Husky cross, And after doing a little research, I see that, this is becoming a real popular breed across the country and across the world. So y'all check this little bit of information out. It may be helpful to some of y'all brothers, maybe helpful to some of y'all sisters. A few facts when it comes to the Pitsky.
Pitbull Husky mixed dog has people begging to know. Where can I get one? Daily Express US. Life and Style Life. The Pooch has over 200K followers on TikTok and is widely beloved for his unusual features. The dog has startlingly blue eyes, those of a standard husky, but the rest of his body has predominantly pitbull features, like pointy ears and a muscular build. Vich hails from Belarus and now resides in Philadelphia with Rio, who she adopted in 2020, according to Newsweek. Many on TikTok have been inquiring about how they, too, can get a mix like Rio. Vitch is quick to clarify an important point. According to AZ Animals, the Pitsky mix has a loyal, affectionate, and active temperament, as well as a lifespan of 12 to 16 years. Most Pitskys will do best as the only pet in a home. They may become aggressive with other dogs, especially two unneutered male dogs, it is written on the site. As for Rio, he is continuing to charm strangers online and give his owner the daily pleasure of owning a dog, and such an unusual one, at that.
Man, y'all know them folk can't do it like the Bay, man. Do you know they can't do it like the Bay? Everybody want to pick at the Bay, and nobody can do it like the Bay. And like I said, at the end of the day, you don't stand for something, you fall for anything, my brothers. You don't stand for something, you fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and this situation that we got coming up, that we talking about, man, save this puppy, man. We going to Hawaii. Big shout out to all my folk in Hawaii, man. Big shout out to all my dog lovers and my pet lovers and pet owners and dog owners in Hawaii. We going to Hawaii, and we going deep into the lava, one of them lava tubes, where a man saves a puppy out of a lava tube. Would you go down in a lava tube to save a puppy? You know, like the volcanoes and stuff, where the lava goes down and gets hard and makes all kind of little trenches and different things, you know? Would you go down in a lava tube to save a puppy? Maybe your puppy you'll go down there and save, but would you go down there and save just any puppy? With this next article, that's what we're talking about, so let's get into it.
By now, a man known for his heroics saved a young dog that fell down into a lava tube.
Misty, the 9-month-old Catahoula hunting dog, fell nearly 25 feet early Saturday morning on the island of Hawaii. And when the owner struggled to find a way to reach her, they called in the help of 60-year-old Kawika Singson.
Singson is a carpenter, Ironman competitor, and former military combat engineer. And he has been rescuing dogs on Hawaii Island since 2019. When Singson arrived, he made his way into the narrow crevice, and after about 30 minutes, they were able to finally pull her out.
I'm very aware of my situation, situational awareness, I like to call it, and aware of their environments and the hazards, of course, but you know, everything comes with a risk, but the reward to me is worth the risk of going after this poor dog.
Oh.
He hopes that by videoing his many rescues, he will encourage dog owners to put a GPS tracker on their pets just in case events like this happen.
Wow. What a daring rescue, all for the pups, man.
I mean, you got to do it for the pups, right?
I'm one of those people that I will do anything for a dog.
That's such
questionable for a human. We'll always do something for a dog.
You'd go into a crevice?
I think I would try.
Yeah.
I think I would. I don't know.
I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button and hit that notification bell if you're not getting no notifications that the video is dropping. You know, as we keep going, I tell y'all, brothers and sisters, I got news for y'all today. You know, I got news for you today. We just doing it how we supposed to do it, PBK9 style. You know, we got a brother that's driving out in the mountains somewhere, and he drives off a cliff. And this particular situation, I think he has maybe 3 dogs in the car with him. 2 of the dogs get hurt. You know, one of the dogs managed to not get hurt, and mind me now, the car went over the edge into a ravine. So one of the dogs didn't get hurt. The dog traveled 4 miles back to the campsite, you know, where everybody else was at. Traveled 4 miles, managed to get the attention of the folk, and let the folk kind of know what he was telling them to follow him. So they knew to go back towards the mountains, and the man was saved. But y'all check the video out, man. Dog travels 4 miles to save his owner.
Up for this, because this is incredible. An amazing rescue for our next guest after his truck went over a cliff and crashed into a ravine. There it is, and that's a close-up shot. When you take it from the top of the hill, it's a lot further down than it looks. Brandon Garrett spent the night out there in that ravine, stranded with a busted up ankle, while his dog Blue ran 4 miles through the forest and the rain for help. A search party then found Brandon and got him to safety. Brandon Garrett joins us now, along with his heroic dog, Blue. Brandon, when I saw this story, I said, we just got to reach out to you, and we've got to get you to tell the story of what happened. So you're driving along a back road, which is near the border with Idaho in the eastern part of Oregon. You go over the side in a curve. believe it was raining at the time. Your truck ends up down at the bottom of the ravine. You got a busted ankle. What happened then?
Well, as far as what happened with me, I laid in the creek overnight because it's foolish to try to move around in something like that if you can't see where you're going. And the other 3 kids stayed with me, and this one took off, and he headed back up to where my camp was, which was closer to 6 miles away.
Oh my gosh.
But he jogged on up there and got him looking for me.
And then what happened? He clearly helped people find their way back to you. They got you. Brandon, I got to say, it's nice to see you looking happy and healthy.
I've been better, but I've been worse. And I'm glad to still be here.
Yeah, I mean, that dog saved your life. If you had stayed out there, for a couple of 3 days longer, the worst could have possibly happened. Do you have any idea why Blue took it upon himself to say, you know what? Brandon was at a campground about 6 miles from here. I better run back and tell his friend that he's not with me anymore. How did the dog know to do that?
I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I've had him up there in that stretch of the Hells Canyon National Recreation Area for so long that they know the place like the back of their hand. As a matter of fact, Blue is just a puppy. You butthead. Are you through? Sit tight.
Hey, listen, if I were you, I'd let that dog do anything he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That's a pretty good point.
Yeah. So Blue went back to the camp, and your friend who you're camping with was there. And when he saw the dog and you not there, he immediately thought something was wrong, and he launched a search party?
Yeah, he went and got a hold of my brother. My brother come up, and he looked at the truck and said, he's dead. And but the deputy, Travis Ash, just sit tight, young feller. Just sit tight. You're okay. The deputy, Travis Ash, pulled up just as soon as it was light enough to see. And by then I'd crawled downstream about 75 yards and uphill about 15 yards. And I had to get to a point where somebody could see me because nobody could see me from the road where I was at. And it had quit raining by then.
Uh-huh.
And Travis Ash said, "You're supposed to be dead." Well, not really.
So when you finally got home, what did Blue get?
Well, my kids all eat before I eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just, I treat him pretty well, and
he looks it.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you, because you refer to them as you refer to them as your kids. You were traveling with 4 dogs in total. Blue ran off to get help. 2 of the other dogs suffered injuries. One had a broken hip. The other had a broken leg in 2 places. How are they doing?
They're doing okay. I could swing the thing over so you can see Baby.
Go ahead. Yeah.
She's Blue's mother. Baby, baby. Baby, baby. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Baby.
Oh.
There she be.
Oh.
Oh, she's got the cone of shame on. Oh.
Yes, she does. She's a wonderful girl.
Oh, poor thing.
My very best friend in the whole world. Yeah.
Well, Brandon,
I don't know what I just...
We loved hearing about the story, loved chatting with you. I think we're losing some of the connection there, but that is incredible.
Isn't that insane? Like how Blue knew to go back to the campground 6 miles away.
Exactly where to go, yeah.
And just basically...
And alert people. He didn't just go back and, like, take a nap. You know, like, he rounded people up. It's amazing.
He got the posse together. No, but that really is
Like
an
a
amazing
movie.
story. I mean, it's like, Disney couldn't have written that, right?
Exactly.
Although if Disney wrote it, the dog would have actually led everybody back. But it was
Well, he
Brandon's
couldn't have
friend
been
who said he's got to be somewhere out there in the mountains and went looking for him.
The dogs couldn't be any better looking if they were cast by Hollywood agents either. So
I'm so
there's that.
glad we got him on. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, it was a good find.
Now, when you treat your dog right, your dog gonna look out for you, man. Any and every dog ain't gonna try to save their owner when put in situations. Any and every dog don't do that. Only the ones when you treat your dog right. When you treat your dog right, your dog know what time it is in certain situations, and they know how to handle themselves in certain situations, whether they trained or not, Don't even have to be trained. If you're treating your dog right, love is love. Love is love. Now, I do want to speak on this, man. When it comes to training these dogs, one thing I found out about these Pitbulls, American Pitbull Terriers, gotta clear it up. American Pitbull Terriers. One thing I know about these dogs, they are just as easy to train as some of your shepherd dogs. Just as easy. The only bad part they got about them, is that they may be dog aggressive. They may be dog aggressive, so I can understand why, the military or the police force may not need a dog at the moment who's dog aggressive. They need them to focus on more than just the dog aggression. But if you X out the dog aggression part, these dogs are just as, if not easier to train as your shepherds, as your Malinois. And I'm talking about starting at a young age, when you're starting with young dogs, And when you got a person who dealt with a dog or dealt with their dog, at a young age, not even really no training, just dealt with them like a house dog or a pet. Good. Treat them like a pet's supposed to be treated. Those are easy to train as well at a year old, at a year and a half, at 6 months, at 8 months. Easy to train, because it's like they're used to human interaction, used to human interaction. But I just wanted to say that, man, when you start on these pit bulls early, real pit bulls, the American Pitbull Terriers, when you start on them early, I don't see why, you couldn't train that dog to do any single thing you want to. Scent work, bite work, anything, man, just tricks, whatever, Now, let's get into this next article where we have a man who saves a dog. He jumps in Lake Erie. Jumps in Lake Erie to save a dog. So y'all check this article out. And like I said before, man, they don't do it like the bait, man. A lot of folk want to do it like the bait. They try to figure out how to do it like the bait. But I have to switch that wave up. Like I say, man, I have to switch that wave up. Let them ride their own wave. You know what I'm saying? Let them ride their own wave, switch that wave up and jump back, take my surfboard and jump back on another wave. I know how to surf. You know what I'm saying? I know how to surf. But man saves dog, jumps in Lake Erie to save his dog. Y'all check this out, man. We just getting started. PBK9's dog talk and news from across the world. Let's go.
Meet Marina the dog. She received her name as a way to remember the resilience she showed in the water of Lake Erie last Tuesday. The story of her rescues, one worth sharing too.
I heard dogs drowning over by the helicopter pad.
Tony Stiles received that call from a fellow member of his Cleveland Clinic security unit and knew he had to act.
My instincts kind of kicked in. I didn't really want to wait too long because, water's a little dangerous.
Tony decided to jump in to save Marina, who had been treading water in Lake Erie near Euclid Hospital for about an hour. The former member of the military says his tactical experience helped him navigate choppy water to reach her, with little time to spare.
By the time I got there, she started to sink a little bit, so I rushed a little bit more and jumped in, grabbed her, and put her back out.
Marina was eventually pulled to safety here by members of the Euclid Fire Department, but it was an effort that took a whole lot of brainstorming and teamwork to accomplish.
The dog was on the rocks, and it was challenging to try to figure out how to get the dog out of the rocks onto land. We didn't know if the dog was going to attack, bite, so that was another issue, which she was the sweetest could be, though.
A week after her rescue, Marina reunited with the first responders responsible for saving her life.
She's just great.
Staff at the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter believe she's about 4 years old and some sort of a Pitbull mix. What's clear to see, there's plenty of love in the heart of this resilient pup. Now, she's in need of a place to call home. And for those that have gotten to know her best, It's an easy pitch to the community.
Someone has to adopt this dog and the other dogs that are here also, but it's amazing. It's amazing. She's doing well, and you know, just adopt.
Reporting in Cleveland, Brett Hamilton, Fox 8 News.
See, I had to sit back, man, give my brother some of that real PBK9's dog content, some of that good dog news, you know what I'm saying? It got to a point where, you know, brothers try to make it use their problems with Southern Triple J into the dog news. And I can't mix that, you know what I'm saying? If you got personal problems with a brother, you know what I'm saying? That's your personal problems with him. You know what I'm saying? This dog news is this dog news. And I can't mix that, you know? Can't mix that. Like, where the brothers at that you know, because we have so many people that don't like when I delete or when I post a video. Like I said, some gonna like it and some ain't. You know, some gonna like it and some ain't. Sometimes you're gonna like it, sometimes you ain't. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, keep them personal problems amongst yourself, you know, and don't mix that personal shit with the news, because the news is the news. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, the news is the news. And keep your personal agendas in your lane. You know, keep your personal agendas in your lane, because PBK9s do his own thing. You know what I'm saying? PBK9s do his own thing. Big homies, you know, big homiettes at the end of the day. And like I said before, how you kill a lot of that conversation when it comes to a lot of these brothers, you know, even sisters, but you don't really hear the sisters talking like you hear the head and the brothers. You know, how you kill a lot of that, you just start talking about the dogs, man. You know, what are we here to talk about? Race cars? What are we here to talk about? Engines? What are we here to talk about? You know, banking accounts and all kind of stuff. What are we here to talk about? Dogs. So you just talk about the dogs, and you kill a lot of that conversation that brothers bring to the table. You know, you kill a lot of that. A true American Pitbull Terrier ain't meant for everybody. You know, now, the way the term Pitbull, I'm going to say it like this. A lot of people got Pitbulls, but a lot of people don't got American Pitbull Terriers, you know. A lot of people don't got American Pitbull Terriers. And we all know the term Pitbull means all dogs these days. And I'm content with that, you know. I know that's a Pitbull, and that's a Pitbull, and that's a Pitbull, and that's a Pitbull. But when we get to talking that real talk, and when I say, is that a Pitbull? Hey, yo, scatterbred kennels, man, is that a Pitbull, man? When I say it like that, you know what I'm talking about. Is that a Pitbull? I don't mean none of the other 6 or 7 dogs are going to be classified as Pitbulls. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean. Is that the real deal, Holyfield? You know? And like I always tell my brothers, big salute out to my brothers and sisters with the blue dogs, with the gray dogs, with the silver dogs. You know, big salute out to them. But I have to say this because of how much flack the American Pitbull Terrier gets. You know, I always tell my brothers, you know, for one, it's a difference in you having a dog that's just human aggression and you're not trying to train them or you're not trying to do nothing, you're not no trainer, you're not involved with that, and you just got human aggressive dogs, than somebody who's training their dogs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all brothers, like I told y'all before, you know, like I told you before, we got lanes, and if training a dog is not your lane, then stay out of that lane. Don't be over here in a lane that you see. A lot of y'all brothers don't exist in that dog rolling lane either. You know, you don't exist in the dog rolling lane, and then you make comments about brothers who over here training their dogs. No make no difference what kind of dog they got or breed they got, but mostly the Pitbull brothers, especially when they start doing bite training and all kind of stuff. That's not your lane. Why is you even worried about that? Like I said before, my brothers and my sisters, what I need for one of y'all to do is to go find me one of my old articles or an article that you can find yourself that it says somebody with a trained American Pitbull Terrier bit somebody, you know, or mauled somebody to death. Not no trained blue dog, not a trained Pitbull, you know, that could be one of 6 or 7 dogs, But a trained American pit bull terrier that was trained to do bite work, that went out and just bit somebody in the street. Show me one of them. So why is half the pit bull community, all they know is, oh, a pit bull shouldn't be trained for this. A pit bull shouldn't be trained for this. Pit bull, listen, man, listen. Like I said before, if you don't deal with the training and you don't know what it takes to do to make them dogs like that, you know, you don't train no kind of dog, then you need to stay in your lane. Just say, I'm not a dog trainer. I mean, ask yourself, why shouldn't a pit bull be trained to bite? It's a whole lot more other dogs that's just as aggressive as a pit bull, but you will agree to train them how to bite. Now you will say, oh, a Rottweiler should be trained how to bite. You'll say that, but a Rottweiler will come more human aggressive, more times in the litter than an American Pit Bull Terrier will. So this brother trained this Rottweiler to bite and be aggressive. That's cool because that's not an American Pit Bull Terrier. And he trained that dog to bite and that dog get loose and he gonna hurt somebody worse than a pit bull or just as bad as a pit bull. If a pit bull was to get in that situation. Like I said before, out of all the news articles I gave, we had a lot of dogs that attacked people that were pit bull terriers, American pit bull terriers. We had a lot of dogs that attacked that were pit bulls. But how many of them were trained to attack? Y'all stop blaming brothers who not responsible owners on folk who may train their dog and try to use that against brothers who want to train their dogs for protection or bite work. Like, don't be 10, 15, and 20 years slow and behind time, man. Don't be behind time with every damn thing that the pit bull community do. Every damn thing the pit bull community do, y'all behind time because all y'all do is hate on each other so much and you stuck in one place. Your prices of your dogs stuck in one place. Every damn thing stuck. The dogs went up from the old days to the new days and they stuck right in the new days for a lot of people. How can the dogs went up from back in the days when we was paying $200, $250, $300, $400, $500 for these dogs? It went up and it went up and it ain't go up no more. Now everybody's stuck in limbo between the $1,000 and $2,000 mark. Everybody's stuck in limbo. That's because the pit bull breeders is moving too slow. You're thinking too slow. You want to be stuck in one position, one way. Even if you make your moves this way, don't knock the brothers that make their moves that way. And then you hear this from some of the most seasoned dog men. But they never been in a training lane, but they speaking on training things. That's no different than a brother who never been in the rolling lane. And he over there training, and he's speaking about things that brothers that talk about rolling talking about. If you never experienced that, why you talking about it for? You's a dog trainer. Talk about that. You don't got no experience in this. Why is you discussing this? You can give your opinion about certain things, but if you never got your feet dirty, period, you really don't got too much of an opinion about it. Most likely, your opinion gonna be biased. Looking one way. But you have brothers that do it every day in this pit bull community. No training skills. They're not trying to be a trainer. It's not in their goals to be a trainer. No disrespect and none of that. Everybody training is not for everybody. Everybody don't want to train dogs, But they make comments about dogs who are being trained. Hey, it's all about staying in lanes, man. It's all about staying in lanes and understanding and stop all that hating so the pit bull community can move forward. You know what I'm saying? Stop all that hating so the pit bull community can move forward. I mean, the American Pit Bull Terrier community. We're going to keep this thing going. We got dog news. Dog news and dog news. Now we got a dog that saves his family. You know, it's recovering, but it saves his family after a intruder attack with a knife. So the dog got stabbed or whatever, but y'all check this out. You know what I'm saying? Giving you all these videos fresh on the press, CNN satellites from outer space, the way I always do it. They can't copy it. They can't duplicate it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of a kind. You know, give it to you raw and uncut. Let's get into it.
Report on what might be the goodest boy ever. I cannot get enough of this story. You can see here the popular Instagram account We Rate Dogs has rated Poncho a resounding 15 out of 10. Reportedly, this is a first for the account. How did Poncho earn this rating? Well, he saved his family from an intruder wielding a knife. Poncho jumped into action, instantly taking on the intruder, managing to help subdue the suspect so police could make the arrest. The intruder stabbed Poncho in the neck during the attack, and Poncho needed help as soon as possible. Poncho's family rushed to try to get him care, eventually bringing him back to where they rescued him from 8 years prior. That's the Espanola, New Mexico Humane Society. Now, the limited staff there performed extensive surgery to clean the neck wound, repair the damaged layers of tissue, and install a drain on that wound. Things looked bad. Poncho's heart actually stopped at one point, but he came back, and his dad stayed by Poncho's side the whole time. He kept talking to him, calling him a good boy. And you can see Poncho is doing well as he recovers. Joining us to talk about Poncho's miraculous recovery is Espanola Humane Communications Director Maddie Allen. Welcome, Maddie. Wow, thanks so much for being here. And first and foremost, how is Poncho doing? How's his family doing now?
He is recovering beautifully. He's honestly a complete miracle. I don't know how he lived through that first night, but he is now walking. He actually also slipped a disc in his spine because he was also kicked in addition to being stabbed. But he is now walking. His wound is healing beautifully. We will be taking the drain and the stitches out the middle of next week.
Look at his face. Look at his face. And his wagging tail there. Walk us through what it took to save Poncho's life after he came in. I mean, injured back, stab wound in his neck. We understand his heart actually stopped at one point as well.
It did. So our staff arrived on Wednesday morning last week and found this family just desperate for help. And you know, we don't have the capacity to run a clinic for privately owned dogs, but you know, how can we say no to this family and this dog? So we immediately got him on the prep table, and that's where his heart actually stopped. His heart stopped, he stopped breathing. Our clinic manager actually performed chest compressions, and our medical director administered a whole bunch of medications to start his heart and his breathing again. And then he was on the table for, you know, well over an hour to stitch everything back together. It was pretty extensive and pretty scary, and we were all just holding our breath and rooting for him the whole time. He's been on some medications to help him with his spinal issue. He's now walking pretty well, and he's going to start getting some acupuncture and laser therapy next week.
Oh, acupuncture, laser therapy. I know there's a road to full recovery ahead. And meanwhile, has he just been getting all the love, all of the pats, all of the praise? Does he know he did a good job?
He knows what a good boy he is. Every time he heard me say the words good boy, his tail would just start thumping, even though he was, you know, on death's doorstep. And he's done nothing but wag his tail ever since. The really sweet thing that happened when we reunited the family with him after surgery, when he was in the recovery area, his dad sort of tearfully dropped to his knees and held his face in his hands and just kept telling him that for the rest of his life, he only is going to get ribeyes.
An upgrade in food, well deserved, well deserved.
Oh, so well deserved.
You know, and it's just an incredible thing what he did. I mean, he jumped into action. I understand there was a child in this family as well, putting himself in harm's way. He is a rescue dog. He protected his family without a thought. Do you feel like this is a good advertisement to adopt, to rescue?
Oh, absolutely. Dogs know when they're rescued. Dogs save us every day. I know my dogs save me every day. And, you know, love ultimately wins. Dogs are love, and love wins.
Absolutely. We know that Instagram account, We Rate Dogs, gave Poncho that highest score of all time, setting a record at 15 out of 10. Do you think 15 out of 10 is really a high enough score for Poncho?
Never. He's infinity out of 10.
We love it. Maddie Allen, thank you so much. Thank you for the work your team did to save him and for also facilitating that rescue from the very start. I'm so glad he was placed with the perfect family in the right place at the right time. Thank you.
Now, big salute and big shout out to all my dog lovers in Israel. Now we got some sad news coming from Israel. 8 months ago, a dog made the news from saving his family when Hamas broke in their house and tried to attack the family. The dog scared off the intruders. So I want y'all to get into this video. Dog died 8 months later. Like I said, it's a sad situation, a sad case. But I'm gonna give it to you, man, from across the world. Now, give y'all that dog news from Israel. We got a dog who just passed away. We got some sad news. He just passed away. He made the news 8 months ago from saving his Israeli family from a Hamas attack, and from his wounds. He never really fully recovered from his wounds, and he just died. So I want y'all to check this article out. Like I said, PBK9's giving you that dog news from across the world.
The heroic dog who saved her family's life when Hamas terrorists attempted to raid their home during the murderous October 7th attacks has died, her family told the Post, as terrorists smashed through a kitchen window to the Ben-Zvi family's home in Kibbutz Erie, in southern Israel. 11-year-old Pitbull, a Labrador mix, began madly barking from the safe room. She's jumping on the door, barking like crazy, Ella Ben-Zvi, 38, recalled. The dog's bellowing, she added, was picked up by a baby monitor in the safe room linked to house's stereo, which began blasting out of the dog's snarls, sending the terrorists running. The same group of terrorists went inside two of our neighbors' houses and killed them, she added. It's safe to assume her presence saved our lives.
Now, this next video, man, we got a family whose dog got bit by a rattlesnake, and a lot of people go through this. A lot of dogs get bit by snakes all across the country, and this that time of the year, my brothers and sisters. But this particular situation, the dog got bit by a rattlesnake. Family nobody else had the venom, In this particular time, nobody else had the venom. They had to ride all across Florida, and I think it took them a few hours. They had to drive all across Florida, to get to the vet that had the antidote or the antivenom. You know what I'm saying? So y'all check this out. Dog bit by a rattlesnake, a Rottweiler at that, bit by a rattlesnake, and family had to rush all across Florida to save their pooch.
And when every second counts, what would you do to save your pet? See what happened when a family raced against the clock to save their girl, Abby.
And that is a story you will only see right here on Fox 35. Abby is now recovering after being attacked by a rattlesnake in Osceola County. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Luann Sorrell.
And I'm Marlisa Goldsmith. Abby's owners rushed her to the closest vet they could find. That quick action saved her life. Fox 35's Esther Bauer joins us live tonight in Melbourne with a Fox 35 exclusive. So, Esther, they had to rush almost 2 hours away to save her.
That's because not every vet has anti-venom treatment on hand. The attack actually happened in St. Cloud, but they had to get in their car and drive all the way to Melbourne to, number one, find a vet office that was open, and then find a vet office that had treatment ready to go. Now, during this entire car ride, the family was just trying to keep Abby awake. Her face was swelling rapidly. One of her eyes had closed up, and she was slowly dozing off. As soon as they made it, they jumped out of the car, and the team here at Animal Specialty and Emergency Center raced to save her life. This rattlesnake nearly killed Madison Sayers' 4-year-old German Rottweiler, Abby.
I let the dogs out, and within 5 minutes, all of them were barking.
That's when she spotted the snake by their family's cabin in St. Cloud. And soon after, Abby wasn't herself.
She was just pouring drool. and she'll drool, but not that much.
She was bitten in her ear, and quickly her face started to swell. So Madison jumped into action, her family and friends all calling frantically to find a vet who could help save Abby's life.
I was just trying to keep her awake because she kept dozing off. I mean, I kept her calm, but I just wanted her to stay awake.
The closest vet they could find that was open and had anti-venom on hand was more than an hour away in Melbourne. Abby was bitten around 7 a.m. and they didn't make it to the vet until 9 in the morning on June 9th.
It can be fatal, and it can be fatal very quickly.
Dr. Marissa Rutt was the first to see Abby. They quickly gave her anti-venom, but she didn't improve right away.
She needed multiple vials of treatment.
We don't know if she's gonna make it, kind of thing.
Her family holding her paw and getting ready to say goodbye.
We thought this might be the last time.
But finally, after the 7th vial of anti-venom, Abby turned a corner and started to get better.
It literally binds to the venom in their blood and helps to remove it from their system.
Abby spent a day at the emergency vet and the treatment cost around $6,000. A week later, Abby still has some swelling around her neck, but at least she's alive.
If anybody knows us at all, they know that we love our pets more than people, and they're our family.
During the summer, rattlesnake bites are more common, and Dr. Rutt says no over-the-counter medicine can help stop the spread of venom. Minutes matter when a rattlesnake strikes and venom starts to spread.
Have a plan, and don't ever think this can't happen to you, or I live in the city, it can't happen, because it can.
And having a plan means having an emergency vet already programmed into your phone that you know is open 24 hours a day and does have anti-venom treatment on hand. And while every situation is different, this vet says from the time your pet is struck by a venomous snake to when they need to start receiving anti-venom treatments, you only have about 1 hour to give them the best chances to survive. Reporting live in Melbourne, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
Big shout out, and big thanks to all the brothers and sisters that be rocking with me down in the chat, man. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button. And like I always say, if y'all want to donate to the channel, $ capital P, Pelican, capital B, Bay, capital K, Kennel, Cash App, or hit down in the super chat. Big thanks and big shout outs to all the brothers that be donating to the channels. You know, I got another news article to bring my brothers. We coming from South Africa. You know, I'm going to give y'all some news from South Africa. But let's going to talk a little bit of dog talk real quick. You know, it's crazy out here in this Pitbull world, man. It's crazy out here in this Pitbull world. Like I was speaking on earlier in the video, a lot of this stuff is based off jealousy now. You know, back in the days, it was based off what kind of great dog you had. And brothers took pride in having, or trying to find a dog that can beat the one that they call the best dog. You know, if Street Rossi had the best dog, you know, I'm going to try to go find one that can beat the best dog, you know, back in them days. I'm not going to talk trash about Street Rossi dog and try to get his dog taken from him or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to beat the dog, you know. I ain't going to go tell the whole world I'm trying to beat the dog. I'm just going to keep that in my little head and go try to find me a dog, man, who I can say, oh, that's my connect. I got me a man now that's going to give me them dogs that could have beat Street Rossi dog back in them days. You know what I'm saying? And even though I'm going to tell y'all like this here, right? The sport was more gruesome back in the days as far as brothers was really getting down for the get down back in the days. And the actual atmosphere around the square was more calmer, was more peacefuler. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's like, you really, you know, brothers do what they do, you know, but at the end of the day, you ain't getting out there like brothers did back in the days, you know, because of the laws and all that, so you can't put it out there like that. And then the whole atmosphere around the square is different. It's more like you're at a hip-hop club now compared to how it was, you know. You was going to battle back then. Now, you back then, if you got rid of one because of it lost, most likely you got rid of it because it was a bad dog. Now, for sure, when you lose, for sure, if you about, or especially, you ain't even got to be about it. When you lose, most likely them dogs getting put down just because so many people saw you lost. You know, plus a few girls saw you lost. So your ego and your pride hurt. You're going to lose. You could be lost 1 in 2 hours. You know, you could be, your dog stopped in 2 hours and some change. Now you're going to put it down. You know, and you ain't going to never find one that go 2 hours for you again. Put it down because your ego and your pride hurt. Just different days when it comes to the dog game, my brothers and sisters. Different days. Big salute and big shout out to them brothers rocking that Chinaman stuff, man. Did a little research on the Chinaman dog, you know. Had some great dogs off of them, off of the Frisco stuff. Had a few Chinaman dogs too. Can't give you the pedigrees on them besides the dog that we had, Champion Chance. And a few of the dogs that was off of one of the popular bitches that Garner had, the old school bitch. I know her name when I hear it, when I see it. Had a few of them. And like I always said, man, great dogs. And one thing like me and my partner was talking about, you know, and I can attest to this. As we went through stages in our life, getting different bloodlines and different dogs, you know, you learn different things. You start off green, you learn. Half the time when I was green or half the time when I was learning, you know, I'm learning with going on Frisco dogs or Chinaman dogs or Spike dogs or, you know, Red Boy Jocko dogs. You know, it's like, as you, the dog that's really gonna get, you know, the best, that you're gonna get the most out of, is the line of dogs that you get and you really know how to handle the situation now, you know. Because I could talk trash about all the Chinaman dogs I had, Frisco dogs I had. I could talk trash about all the ones we seen, you know. But then I got to look at the other side of the picture. What was I doing on my end? Was I doing the keeps right? Was I doing the health exactly how I'm supposed to do it? You know what I'm saying? All that stuff factors in. And then when I say I had Bo or whatever, now when I got him, I may be thinking on a different level. You got to think on the other side. Am I feeding right? Am I taking them out, exercising them right? You know, am I schooling them out right? You know, am I schooling them out 5-10s in the 5-10 increments? You know what I'm saying? Gradually taking them up, you know, or am I just taking them, trying to railroad them? You know, all that stuff you got to keep into play back in the days as far as giving your judgment on different bloodlines. Because we was all different ages when we touched this particular bloodline for the first time. You know, some brothers may be 19, some brothers may be 17, 20, 24, 25, whatever age you was, you know, you remember how you was when you first touched that particular dog, you know, and what you knew or didn't know played a factor, whether you knew it or not, in what this particular line gonna put out for you. You know what I'm saying? What this particular line gonna put out for you? Like, knowing the things I know now, if I was living way back in the days, you know, it'll be a whole lot different because I'm thinking from a 45-year-old mind frame, you know, that done seen and been through things when it comes to them dogs like that. So, you know, I would do things differently if this was back in the days. So I could probably grab a dog who I might consider maybe not be that game and take that same dog with the mind frame that I got now, take that same dog back then and might turn it to a grand champion and be like, oh man, them dogs was grand champions, you know, because I'm doing them differently. I always say if Bo would have been with somebody at that time, like I was 19, 20, if Bo would have been with somebody in their 30s that was already deep in the dog game, deep in the dog game, it would have been a whole lot different. In a way, not saying that he would have been better, but it would have been different because they wouldn't have wore him down like I wore him down. I didn't give him time to rest. You know what I'm saying? He keep winning. I don't give him time to rest. I bring him back out. He keep winning some more. You know, don't give him time to heal up. You know, like I always said on my old videos, wounds, healing up the wounds and stuff like that. You know, brothers was a whole lot more savvy back then when it came to wound healing and doctoring a dog after a show than they is modern day time. You know, some brothers still got that gift, but brothers was a whole lot more doctor savvy and health savvy when it come to that type of stuff back then. You know, it wasn't nothing for a brother to stitch something up or cut something off that needed to be cut off if needed. You know, back in them days. But yeah, man. Just talking a little dog talk to my brothers, man. Little dog talk to my brothers. We're going to get into this news real quick because I'm giving y'all that news from around the world tonight. You know, around the world tonight. Like I said, I got to ride that surfboard where they can't. Because, man, I ain't going to lie to you. I got to start making folks sign a prenup. Man, we going to be homies. We going to sign a prenup. You know. Because a lot of y'all boys, man, hey, to my brothers and sisters that doing them YouTube dog channels, man. You know what I'm saying? Make your channel based off content. You know what I'm saying? Don't make your channel based off lies. Don't make your channel based off hate. You know, because all that going to run out eventually. All that going to run out. Make your channel based off content and whatever kind of content you want to give. If it's feeding, if it's fleeing, you can teach folk how to flee their dog, worm their dog all year long. You know, it's just being creative with it. You know what I'm saying? Just being creative with it. And don't hate the next brother. You know, at the end of the day, it's always easier to ask somebody about certain things. You know, and don't get it twisted. In this YouTube thing, a brother asks you how to do something or how to make this move and turn around the very next day, after you tell them that, turn around the very next day and punch you in the face. You know, punch you in the face. That's how it go down on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? That's how it go down on YouTube. Folk act a certain way, but there's a lot of jealousy and envy out there. You know, you just got to know how to handle it at the end of the day, man. But let's get into this thing. South African woman killed by 4 pit bulls. And not just any 4 pit bulls, her 4 pit bulls. Got to give it to you in computer voice, but I got to give it to you. South Africa. Let's go.
A 28-year-old woman was killed on Monday afternoon by pit bull dogs at Namibia Square, in Bloemfontein. The woman was declared dead on the scene by the emergency health services personnel, as the pit bulls severely injured her. In a heart-wrenching turn of events, 3 of the dogs had to be put down by police, while the 4th dog and its puppies were taken to safety by the local SPCA. The incident has sent shockwaves through the community, with many calling for increased awareness and responsibility among dog owners.
And still on to that Chinaman stuff, talking about Chinaman stuff, we may always ask what's different about Garner China, Eli stuff and Mr. Boudreaux Eli stuff. I looked at Chinaman pedigree and I never really paid attention to it like that. Just always took Chinaman as a good Eli dog or the Garner stuff as some good Eli blood. But the thing is, Chinaman is not really an Eli dog. When you look in his pedigree, I seen the name Eli in there maybe twice. Bully Son is in there a few times. I mean, he got a few things in there. The snooty stuff, or the Cotton's Bullet stuff. He's not really an Eli dog. When you go Boudreaux gonna have top and bottom Eli, probably a little more heavier. His dogs are more Eli based. When Garner dogs are more Chinaman based and Spike based dogs. And when I look in his pedigree, it's like, you see the Eli dog in there, but the thing is, you don't see enough Eli enough for brothers to be carrying it around the country like this is an Eli dog. You know, great dog. He's a great producer. You know, can't say nothing bad about him. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm missing something when I'm looking in the pedigree. Maybe I didn't see every single dog, you know, but I did see Bully son, and I seen Eli maybe a few times, no more than about 2 to 3. I want to say 2, maybe 3, and that's way back, you know. So just by me looking at that, I was like, damn, I kind of always looked at Chinaman like an Eli dog, you know, kind of all based Eli, which I always knew he came off of Snooty, you know, and I always knew he came off of the Abernathy dog. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna keep y'all brothers and sisters here too long though, man. You know, I just had to give y'all some of that dog talk today, man. Hope everybody having a good day, a good Juneteenth, you know, old holiday. Banks open back up tomorrow. Talk about brothers and sisters that need to go to them banks. If they close the banks, I ain't sure. I ain't had to go to the bank today. I just got an alert that said it was a bank holiday. You know what I'm saying? But I guess they'll be back open tomorrow, man. Like I said, PBK9 specializes in giving my brothers that content, that dog talk, and that dog news from around the world. You know what I'm saying? From around the world. I'm going to do it like no other can do it, man. You know, we're going to have a contest in a minute called the PBK imitation. Who do the best PBK imitations out there? You know what I'm saying? The best wannabes out there. You know, we may do a contest about all that, though, man. But at the end of the day, man, I just try to take pride in what I do. Give brothers something, some good content to watch. Like I said, we do the news. We do the good news, the bad news, the ugly news. You know what I'm saying? However it come, it come. You know? However it come, it come. And we don't hate on nobody else. Nobody else channel we don't hate on. Do how you do. You know? Do how you do. Like I always say, man, some folk got it, some folk don't. No matter how much you diss a person, no matter what you say, what kind of joke you make up or figure out in your head, you know, some people got it and some people don't. That's all it is to it. You know? A lot of y'all brothers won't think, you say you can swim, you say you can swim. Then when you jump in that water, you see it ain't like how you thought it was. You know, now you're reaching and grabbing for a raft. There's a lot of brothers that be like that. A lot of brothers. But at the end of the day, man, one thing I learned, I put a lot of folk on out there, you know. And a lot of folk I put on in that YouTube thing. And when I say this, I ain't talking about none of my homies. I'm talking about the haters out there, you know. Put a lot of haters on by just addressing y'all folk. Give you a week or two worth of comments, you know. Give you a week or two worth of content. But hey, at the end of the day, man, I heard you the worst. I heard you the worst just by speaking, just by talking, just by giving my brothers this good dog talk and good dog news and not even addressing a lot of these flunkies out here, man. You know, can't even address the flunkies. Flunky gonna be what a flunky gonna be. Sometimes they come in different disguises, you know, different disguises, man. And at the end of the day, if the shoe fit, wear it. You don't got to call names about certain things. If the shoe fits, wear it. You know, but let me explain to my up-and-coming YouTubers, YouTube dog channel people. You know, the first thing they do, they're going to try to knock you, right? And then if they can't knock you just by talking shit about your dogs and stuff like that, next thing they do is go to talking about whatever you got going on in your personal life. You know what I'm saying? They start talking about all that, start acting like all that stuff matter when it comes to these dogs. And none of that stuff don't matter when it comes to these dogs. When it comes to our conversation, you know. we was talking about dogs one time, right? I had somebody I was talking to about dogs, and we going back and forth about dogs. And then because his dog didn't fit the criteria, he tell me, I got a bullshit kennel set up. I got a bullshit kennel set up. That's how they do, man. So anybody getting them on that dog YouTube stuff, man, just remember, when your haters come, they come. They might not be you today. It's funny. That's why I tell a lot of y'all brothers who won't stand up for something sometime. You know what I'm saying? You want to sit back and let folk run all over you. Folk that won't stand up for something or fall for anything. And it might be me today. It'll be you tomorrow. When you trying to do your thing, now everybody hating on you. And you thought all the ones that had your back, now they talking trash about you. That's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. At the end of the day, I stood alone on this YouTube thing when I started my shit. Had a lot of great brothers that gave me great interviews, that gave me great nights of dog talk when it come to that live and pre-recorded dog interviews. Man, I done did shows with some of the best dog commentators out there, man. Say what you want about Pro. One of the best dog commentators that the dog little community had. One of the best commentators. I done rock with them all. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. I can't make a lot of brothers it's like because you mad at somebody, you want me to be mad at somebody. I think for myself. Even when it comes to people I have a problem with, I don't try to make people that I deal with or my friends have a problem with somebody because I got a problem with them. That's my problem with them, And that's a lot of what's going on in that dog game as well. Brothers want to inherit other people's problems. When I say that, I mean, okay, because this dude mad at him, you want to be mad at him, and you don't even know why you mad at him. That's why I told y'all about Chico before. Half y'all mad at Chico and don't even know why you're mad at Chico. Calling the man this, calling him that. You don't even know why you're mad at him. You mad at him because somebody else done passed the word down to you, and they done passed the word down, and they been mad at him, and they mad at him, and now you mad at him. Or now you hating on him. But that's the way the dog game is, man. That's why I said these dogs is stopped. It's like with all the hating and all the other stuff that's going on, the price of the dog stopped. The growth stunted. The growth of the American Pitbull Terrier is stunted. The growth of the community, Too much bullshit. And not enough brothers really dedicated to this breed, to making this breed better. It done got to the point where you just making litters to make money off of them, So why worry about how the dog structure is or the dog temperament or this or that or this or that? Just get this money for these dogs. And like I said, man, big salute and big shout out, big thanks to all the brothers and sisters down in the chat, rocking with the Bay. Big salute and shout out to all the people that's watching the video from afar. I just got to give it to you, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Like I always say, man, y'all stay legal out there. Y'all keep raising them dogs the right way, doing the right things with these dogs. PBK9s, and I'm out.